We're J and J. He's Justin.
Dude, that's Jared. Yeah, that's Jared. Jared.
We are two leashed dads
With a dark side
that get
hat.
together to discuss our everyday life, while leashed/chained to our everyday responsibilities, those being parental and spousal, and drawing awesome logos for our podcast. Look at that, folks. Come on now. That is
For those of you on YouTube,
rough
it's
draft,
it's a
folks.
rough draft. I might actually have talked to somebody and they might be coming up with maybe a logo for us. Hopefully free of charge. I don't know. Haven't really talked to her yet about it, but we'll see. Uh for again, those of you on YouTube, I know it's kind of reversed, but it is supposed to be an L and a D, and then it does say Leashed Dad, or it's supposed to say Leashed Dads, and that's supposed to be like a chain. I think it's pretty cool. I came up with this myself when I was bored during work, so I wanted to test my artistic abilities, and I've actually come to a realization, folks, that I like to come up with logos, even if it is
Well,
like
there
a
you
rough
go.
draft.
Yeah.
I found my new career.
There you go. You might have to move to some
But
metropolitan area that's outside of Appleton, but
no,
who knows?
no.
I mean, it might be remote too.
Working from home allows me to do what I can do right there and then.
Yeah.
But anyways,
Anyway,
as
one
you
of our
said, we're
responsibilities is is making sure our kids participate in the duties that are part of owning a house, apartment, or any living space in general.
isn't
Because
that
let's
called
be
chores?
honest, it teaches them responsibility, what good work ethic is. I mean, you name it. It's not just us parents needing help with the duties around the house. It's we're trying to get them to learn how to take care of themselves when they're out of the house, as well as like I said, the responsibilities. So, but before we get into that, it is our first ranking episode. Woot woot!
Oh my god. Yep, first ranking episode, and we just so happen to make it about chores. Get ready
Yes.
to, you know, fasten your seatbelts. Everybody, sit down and do whatever you're doing, because this one I think is going to be a little crazy, as it's something we haven't done before, and we're gonna see where it takes us tonight. But let's actually kind of start off with our weeks. I want to go first. It's been a bit crazy, and well, to really start, folks, we are moving to a new time. Normally you'll see these come out on, well, Wednesday or so, depending. We are now changing our recording, so it's going to come out at a different time. It should be coming out this episode being the first one with change. We are You will be probably seeing this on Sunday night. So just buckle in for that. As far as the just talking about chores on our end, and that's one of the big chores I wanted to get out of the way. Uh, let's talk about our weeks. As I mentioned, I have been mentally drained
Uh
all
oh.
week, um, for the past week, but it's because of work, and it's not in a bad way, but people may view it as a bad way. It's just been a lot of training, client side and still, but then on top of that, it's additional like actual company training that I've gone through because I'm part of a new division. Like I'm not part of a new division, but I'm part of a new segment of my business where I was used to doing like business to business in a sense, like the sales side or uh, basically selling in regards to like other businesses and whatnot, where now I'm part of the healthcare side or healthcare industry, um
Okay.
where I wasn't a part of that industry before. Now I am, so I've had to go through some additional training,
HIPAA.
because healthcare is huge. Yep, HIPAA
Mm-hmm.
is one of the things I had to go through, but on top of that, it's also learning about some of the segments like product segments, uh, industry, government segment, so like learning about the Medicaid, the uh, types of like the CDC, covering some of those as well, what they provide for, the healthcare, and
Right.
like even FEMA, the medical assistance, whatever. So, that's been the draining portion of it as well. Um, you know, I do want to say this. Last week, Friday, I did get certified by my client to make phone calls for
Nice.
them. So that's a plus. Finally, one of the biggest stresses out of my life in regards to that side of things. But another thing is we've been doing a lot of role playing, so practicing within ourselves to actually get this taken care of. It's just been a hell of a ride. Yesterday, I told my boss, dude, we are totally role played out. So we basically didn't role play at all. Um, but he wanted to do like a role play. He's got like this little coffee because he's a big coffee drinker, but he's got a Folgers like container and he put our names in it and he's gonna randomly pick one of us out and we're gonna run through our role play because steel sharpens steel or whatever that saying is. Um, where he wants to make sure that we're sharpening ourselves. Now that we have the axe,
Oh,
let's keep it sharp so we can be
yeah.
better. Um, that's kind of the idea that he's getting with out of that. Um, we've been working on still slowly feeding our baby girl, or trying to feed her in different ways. That way
How's
she
that going?
can finally be. It's a hell of a ride.
Yeah.
She actually had her 4 month checkup recently. So the doctor's basically like, well, best bet at this point is probably just take a cup with the formula or whatever, and uh, you know, use it. Just do little bits by little bit to feed her, since she's not necessarily sucking on a nipple right now out of a bottle to actually get anything. So, um, the only thing I'm worried about with her is the fact that maybe she's just going to be one of those kids that starves until mommy gets home, which is really going to suck
Oh.
because yeah, things are gonna. I think it can end bad. I've been in a for you, those of you who are familiar, I've recently been in Born, like the Born Identity, Born Supremacy. I've been on that kind of kick again, and it's on Netflix till the 30th. So I only have like
Oh.
4 days left to watch all those movies. Um, the best thing is I have made it through the best part of the trilogy or the trilogy. Um, but now I'm on Born Legacy with Jeremy Renner. Um, and then I think there's just one more out there that
Well,
um,
crap.
that is out there. Yeah, so if you want to watch those, watch them now. But luckily, I don't necessarily have to rush through them on Netflix because I do own them. So
Oh,
it's just I found them on Netflix. I'm like, oh, sweet.
so I could
So
borrow
no,
them if
no,
need
no
be.
worries there. Yeah, yeah. It's just if you have some time, do that. The other thing that was kind of big was I took my niece to the ER to get a second opinion on something that was going on with her.
Oh
She said she was
no.
having muscle pain in her arms, and um, well, what had happened is her mom had called saying, "Can you take her to the hospital and get a second opinion?" And basically, what happened is I think it's just some sort of I won't say arthritis, but I don't remember. Uh, in the long run, I think she's just basically the doctors have told her to stop taking some painkillers because she's actually allergic to or like ibuprofen and whatnot, and that's kind of what they
Oh,
prescribed
okay.
her. Uh, the doctors or the second opinion doctors had basically prescribed her some muscle relaxer. Um, so I think that's going to help with the inflammation. They said she mentioned something about them, the doctors that provide the second opinion, saying her muscles were getting stuck or something like that. So not necessarily contracting and relaxing like they should be, I guess. But they were also probably inflamed to a degree. So there was some sort of myoitis, or not myoitis, but yeah, I guess it would be myoitis. So the inflammation of the muscles at that point. Um, Nico, our youngest son, he had an in-home visit, really just kind of with some specialist for like schooling. So he had some fun with that. He was playing, which actually led him into some interesting things throughout the week as well. Where when I came upstairs, he started asking me to play with him. Like I'm talking with his stuffed animals and whatnot. So it's fun. It's cute when he asks to play. Um,
Oh, okay.
Again, Eleonora had her 4-month checkup, which is really cool. But she's getting so
4 months.
big, 13
Yeah.
pounds, people. Can you
Oh
believe it?
my.
13 pounds. Um, I think the biggest thing here is uh, Kane has participated in a 2-day wrestling tournament. Um, where when I say 2 days, there was two different styles that he participated in. First one being Greco, so that's really all kind of like your upper body and having upper body strength. And then the second day
Okay.
he was in, it was all freestyle. So ran a little differently, but 2 days worth of wrestling. Very exhausting as a parent and being there. Um, we then spent some more time at the building for kids. We just actually got done celebrating one of our neighbors' uh, kids' birthdays, even though it was like a week ago now. But why not do something special for them? They've been a
Right.
little busy with their newborn, so they still want to do something for their first son or their first child. But um, on top of that, I've actually started being more of a social butterfly as well. With I took Kane to wrestling practice the other day. Started socializing with parents there, learning more about wrestling practice, more about wrestling in general, um, and then learning more about different clubs that are around the state and where some of these people are actually. Sometimes where some of the people that are part of the club, or our club, are coming from. They're not just
Okay.
they're not just finding a club within their area or their city. They might be coming to this club from, I don't know, freaking lacrosse for crying out loud, or something of that nature. And that's like, holy crap. But
That's a
it
long way
it's
away.
awesome. Yeah. That's kind of been my week so far. Um, More things to come, of course, obviously. But that's, it's a lot to take in. I'm sorry, guys, but that's a huge week right there. Very exhausting in the long run. Jared, sorry for taking up the limelight. Tell me more about your week.
No worries. It was very stressful week at work. Getting a ton of pressure from leadership to get caught up, even though we've been short staffed. Unfortunately, there was a death in one of my coworkers' families, and then another person had to take some time off extensively to I think it was an operation or something. So we've been pretty short staffed. It's just confusing sometimes because I haven't been caught up since I started there because I took the a book on that was pretty messed up and just behind and already. So I don't know why all of a sudden they're pushing me to be up to date, but whatever. I'm taking care of the clients. Their needs are being met first. It's just the back end stuff that's starting to slip, but as long as my clients are happy and not complaining and not upset with the agency, I'm okay. The other
I
stuff
think insurance is a
can
hard thing
wait.
to get into.
Yep. And so they made some good moves as far as who can help me now, and as far as they can branch out and find more help for the
Good.
back end stuff, and it did help. It did help. So I think, knock on wood, if I have a quiet tomorrow and Friday, I should be in excellent shape for the future. So we'll see how it goes. I took a big leap at work as well. More to come on that, probably in 2 or 3 weeks. I can't say much about it. It's kind of private, but we'll see how it goes. It's Hail Mary time, and it's where I want my career to go, as far as insurance and in the office world. It's
Nice.
something I've been dreaming about since, I don't know, I was in my early 20s. I don't really know. It's been so
More
long,
insurance. That
but
doesn't.
yeah, it's mainly just in commercial insurance. I'm the most comfortable in it. That's what I've been in my entire career so far. So I will not touch health insurance or benefits with a 10-foot pole. That world is just in, and you had to go through some training about HIPAA and everything else, and everything is so crucial. So I don't want anything to do with that.
It's a nuisance. It's a nuisance.
Right.
So,
And people are always upset. I mean, I don't like my health insurance, but whatever. I'll update you all when I can on that. I'm not sure who listens, so I don't
sounds
want
like
to be.
a big leap of faith, though.
Yeah, I don't want to say any. I don't know who listens because I don't want to be caught with my pants down.
He's being cautious, overly cautious for a good thing.
Yeah. In a weird stage in my life right now, and it's just time to start making some leaps and back and forth between the working world and enlightenment and trying to just enjoy life. It's a struggle because every day it's different. Some days I'm a grouchy asshole, and some days I'm at peace with myself and the world. It's such a freaking roller coaster. I wish I would just have one solid, and I wish that one solid mood and would be enlightenment, but that apparently can't happen when I'm doing what I'm doing.
You sound like a freaking Buddhist.
Well, I have one right here, Buddha. Hi. But I'm not specifically Buddhist. I'm just more of a peace, love, and light kind of guy.
You don't have to actually be Buddhist to, be enlightened.
One helps me spiritually, and the other helps me keep food on the table for my family and a roof over their heads. So I can't. It's the best of both worlds,
Nope, don't know what that's like.
Yeah, well, I'll have more time to get into it when the kids are older and not screaming and fighting with each other and not potty training, which Cora has started potty training. It is a nightmare. Worse than Eleanor. It is so bad. But we'll get into that later. She's only like 3 days into it, so it's expected to be bad. Natalie had a lot of appointments this week, so I had to stay home from the office, which was kind of weird. I kind of missed it. I don't know what's happening to me, but I kind of missed it.
You just missed the interaction, social interaction with the coworkers. I
guarantee that's not it. That's not it. No, I think
I'm going to go with that because it sounds better than what you're going with. The direction you're going is digging yourself a hole, young man, and that's not the direction you want to go. So we're going to go with the I miss social interaction.
Yeah, I miss my coworkers.
And I've had a conversation about that.
Yeah. I miss my office chair at work. It's better for my back.
God.
Anyway, I got Eleanor's birthday present on Friday, so that's good.
There you go.
She got a bike. She's not listening. She got a bike, so she'll find out on Saturday what she's getting.
You say that, and then she listens, and is like, "Oh my God, he got me a what?"
Yeah, no. And then
that's not happening.
So because we got her present, we shipped them off to the grandparents. So Natalie and I had another nice night to hang out at the house this time, and of course I slept like shit because that's the way the world works. You have an opportunity to get great sleep and it just blows up. So we watched.
So you shipped them off. Was it FedEx? Was it FedEx?
No,
UPS?
it was actually DHL.
How did they arrive at the grandparents? DHL.
DHL.
Terrible service.
Very. Ugh.
Took them days to get back.
Pretty much, and no shipping updates either. None. Bastards.
No
DHL,
customer return
get
either.
Your shit together. Come on now.
Just kidding. By the way, we don't actually mean that because we don't know. I mean,
So,
we obviously we're entitled to our opinions, but there was no shipping of children in this recording.
No, it was all a joke. But seriously, DHL, come on now. I ordered one thing, and I don't have any shipping updates for over a week. What is it? Just sitting there?
That's pretty bad.
Anywho's chores.
What about them? Tell me about them. Children,
As a
chores.
kid,
it's good for them.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I don't think they're bad. I know some parents, well, you're just doing, you're making your kids slaves. Like, that's not a right word. I didn't mean that. I retract that, folks. You're making them do things that kids shouldn't be doing, I guess, and you're forcing them to, but JJ and I agree that it helps.
I
Why
think
do
there's
you think it
probably,
helps?
honestly, I think there's more parents out there that are in agreement with us about children doing chores because of a couple of factors. It teaches them responsibility. I think that's the biggest one out there. It's going to
Yes.
teach them responsibility, know that they're doing something. Um, as much as we know, yes, we know they want to play, and that is something they can do. But sometimes you need to work before you play.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, kids are kids. They will grow up, and then eventually they will come to an understanding of, and I think this is a great thing for them, learning that responsibility. Because if they don't learn to be responsible now, when are they going to learn to be responsible? Once it hits them in the
Right.
face saying, I need to do this, it's
Right.
kind of like learning not to procrastinate at that point. Or I think with responsibility, like teaching them to do chores, and if they don't do it, they learn to own up to it as well, which means they fall on their sword or become more of somebody that can be accountable for something rather than be like,
Right.
well, you didn't tell me to do that. So I think chores are huge. I'm not saying make them do something that you expect them to not be able to or do completely. Like, I don't think having them do, oh God, cleaning the roof, for example.
Oh,
I
the
don't know.
gutters.
Something something very, very
Telling
difficult for them to do. Like cleaning,
telling
yeah,
a ten
cleaning
year
the
old to
gutters.
clean the
That's, I mean,
gutters.
yeah, something like that. I don't know. Telling them to do something that's actually not really expected of a 10-year-old. Or like telling a
Yeah.
5-year-old to go cut the lawn. You're going to have a 5-year-old push a big ass lawnmower? That's actually highly irresponsible of a parent. They're not
Yeah.
going to be able to.
I,
Yeah, you got to keep in mind the age of your child when you're having them do chores. So that's where this. I think we're in for a treat. You guys are in for a treat tonight because there might be some differences within our rankings, and there might be some debate. I don't know how big of a debate, but we'll find out. Um, I just wanted to lay it out for you though. Chores are very impactful on a child's life, and I think it helps them develop properly here. So just keep that in mind when you're before you start criticizing that they're children, let them play. No, again, different parenting styles that we have. You can do that. We want to do it this way. We want to teach them to be responsible, and as much as you may think of it as child slavery or child labor, folks, they live in a house. They can contribute to the household.
yep.
Thoughts before we jump into this, Jared?
Let's go.
Additional thoughts? All right.
No,
Do you want to
I'm
start
all
or shall
set.
I? I don't really care. Well, we're actually, tell you what, this is how we're going to do it. We're going to just kind of list it off our top five, starting from number five being, I guess, maybe the least important.
Yep.
I
That's how
hope
I did
that's
it.
how you had it
Number
listed.
one is the most
Okay.
important.
So we'll start from five being the least important all the way up to our what we would deem as number one, our most important. All right. And then we will talk about maybe some of the things we disagree about or agree about in regards to that. All right. So, Jared, do you want to start?
All right, yes. Number five. Coming in at number five. Dishes. That may seem a little low, but bear with me. Numero four. Sweeping floors. Or, for those of you who have carpeting, vacuuming. You can do a combination of both. I don't care. Number three is putting away laundry. And number two, cleaning up toys. And number one, cleaning your room. Number one. And what about
Very
you?
good. I like that list. All right. So, my fifth one, my least important, pet maintenance. 4, charging electronics. 3, garbage and recycling. Number 2, cleaning or doing floors. Um, Number 1, cleaning your room.
Our number one is the
I'd say
same,
it's pretty
folks.
self-explanatory.
That is not planned. We did this totally separately. And number one is the same. That's crazy.
Yep. Yeah.
Wow.
So I mean, dishes. I so I want to let's focus on our number fives. I kind of want to get an idea of why did you put dishes as number 5? To me, I kind of want to get an idea here from you. But for my ideas, age. I mean, are you really gonna have your young daughters do dishes now? Especially if there's gonna be sharp objects in there. I think I could
Well, I
start having
wouldn't
my
tell them to do the
10-year-old do
knives.
dishes.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I mean, dishes are dishes, though. You should have them do them. Are you, I guess, are you having them wash them in a sink, or do you have a dishwasher you can use and have them
Both.
basically maybe put the dishes in the dishwasher and run the dishwasher?
Both.
You have
And that in our household,
okay. So
it's
why are you
doing
having like?
dishes is both.
Oh, okay. So why? But why are you still having like a 5-year-old do like maybe dishes like in the sink?
Okay. Yes, you are right. I'm not gonna have my 5-year-old try and reach the cabinet with heavy ass plates in their hand. No, I was thinking more along the lines of like 10 or 7 or some shit. I don't know. Um,
Okay. Well,
she
that's
does
fine.
help me sometimes wash the dishes already, and she's 5.
No, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, maybe if you're the one doing the actual washing or like cleaning of the dishes, and then you maybe put in the other sink to rinse off, I would say that's totally acceptable. I'm just trying to think of making them do the whole entire, or like the entire process from I'm gonna wash the dish, rinse the dish, and set it on the drying rack, or maybe I just rinse the dish off, setting it in the dishwasher. Right? It's all different. I just wanted to get an idea. I mean, I'm not gonna have a 5-year-old necessarily do the dishes, especially since I don't have a dishwasher. So they would be doing the nitty gritty, and not to mention I don't trust them enough to actually get all the dirt or the grime off the dishes, which means then I have to do extra work by having to redo it,
Okay.
and making sure it's more, again, spotless. I think it is more for the older ones, maybe like 8 and older. I don't know. I haven't necessarily. I've had my nieces do dishes when they were in the, living with us as a chore, um, and sometimes they still failed, but that's okay. It's more understandable because then I can have them go back and do it anyways, rather than me go back and do it.
Hmm.
Where it's like, they're old enough to understand that they should be doing this right in the first place. They can start doing the scrub or like the harder scrubbing and whatnot. Um, so I mean, it's not bad. I think it is one of those things that needs to be worked on eventually, um, because you know some of these are definitely going to be when they move out of the house. They're going to need to know how to do dishes. Kind of the same thing too. You've got, let's say you have pets in your house, right? This is why I put pet maintenance as number 5. They still they still need to know how to be responsible when it comes to cleaning, training, uh, making sure that the pets are, have a suitable living space. Or like, for example, my cat. You've got to change their litter every so often. They need to know how to do that. You can't just be wasting litter, dumping it out like crazy, right? You got to sometimes actually scoop it up, get rid of the poop or
Right.
the solid stuff, and then save what's left by, they've got different sifting things out there nowadays for uh, untouched cat litter. Making sure the cats are still fed, the dogs are still fed, whatever kind of pets you have, they still require food and water, folks. That's why I put that as number 5. Still teaching them how to be responsible for their pets, and if they want pets of their own, maybe this is a. I don't want to just dissuade them from having a pet, but they will now know some of the essentials of taking care of a pet.
Right.
What do you want to combat anything there?
No, I think it's a solid number 5. I didn't put that on there because I don't have animals in my house.
True, true. So some of these are going to be difficult to, I won't say difficult to argue or maybe ask questions. Um, but, it, I think having questions and asking why or what our thought process is going to be critical throughout this too. So let's talk about it. Number 4. You had sweeping floors and I had charging electronics.
Well, again, this is going to be different because my kids don't have electronics. So, but it is important to charge their electronics. And you do this at night before they go to bed. Is that my understanding?
Yeah, yep. So
Okay.
if the most important thing about this is doing it during the night. Now, granted, if the electronic does die during the day, I've got my youngest Nico. He's actually pretty good about putting it on the charger and he's not very good about letting it charge fully, but he puts it on the charger to continue using it. So, but we had a task where they had to put the electronics on the charger at night. So basically, they could have it during the day. And this is probably it'll never change, but you might see them do it more often during the summer, because obviously they don't have school
Mm-hmm.
throughout the week
Yeah.
normally, um, and that's when they're probably going to do it. But if you're not charging your electronics and it dies during the day, well, now you're learning your lesson, and now you don't have it to play for the rest of the day. And so it's just again reminding them. I think it's just kind of telling them, hey, this is what you need to do. This, otherwise you're not going to have it. And that's going to suck when you don't have anything to do, unless you can find something else to
Right.
play with. So it's a hard responsibility sometimes to teach them to make sure they have their you know source of entertainment. Otherwise, they can just twiddle their thumbs or find other ways to entertain themselves throughout the day. Tell me. So I'm actually curious about the sweeping the floors or vacuuming here. Um, if I say to me, I still think my children are a little too young to be vacuuming and sweeping, just because the broom is still like maybe a whole, person taller than they are.
Right. Again, this is more of a 10 to 7-year old or whatever kind of chore. However, it is very important because right now we have hardwood floors and
Hmm.
the dust, the crumbs just accumulates almost instantly after we go and sweep it up. So I almost put it higher, but I think the remaining 3 are a little bit more important as far as responsibility and making sure that they do it. Whereas, dishes, you bring up a good point with not having them all perfectly clean to a sanitary extent. Well, kind of the same with the floors. I have had experience with Antonio sweeping the floors and not doing a very good job, and having him do 3 or 4 takes of it, just trying to get all the crumbs and dust off of the floor. Uh, so we are pretty picky with that around the house as
Hmm.
well as dishes. But dishes are you have to be picky for a reason because you can get sick.
Yep.
But as far as floors, it's kind of a nuisance for my wife and I to see it out of the corner of our eye. It's like, oh, we live in a pigsty kind of thing. And then vacuuming is kind of the same. Nothing to me, nothing little to nothing is better than a nice, freshly vacuumed carpet. I
Yes, having the
get
nice freshly vacuumed
weirdly
carpet.
great pleasure out of that.
So, okay, we have a hand vacuum, all right? And yes, we have, hardwood floors or ceramic tile floors as well, um, throughout the house. Our stairs are the only carpeting, and we actually only do vacuuming of the stairs maybe Ooh, I know we need to do it more often, probably like on a weekly basis because of cats and dogs, right? And their
Yeah.
hair getting all over the place. But like the sweeping, we definitely need to keep up with, especially with young children and putting, we're gonna have a toddler here or an infant
Crawling around.
on the floor and
Yeah.
maybe start crawling around here, which means things going in the mouth. Um, so I mean, sweeping, I think that's a huge thing. I definitely agree with you. It's very very important to do. Um, but I have a hand vacuum, or we have a hand vacuum in the house, and we try to get our kids to make sure that they are, in fact, using that hand vacuum for crumbs like that are on the couch, even though we try to tell them not to be eating or drinking on the couch because
Oh, yes. Thank you.
we don't like to see that. I mean, that's a whole kind of like pet peeve of ours is food on the couch, especially if they're
Hmm.
not necessarily like clean when it comes to eating.
Yeah.
Um, you know, children are children; they like to make a little mess, but uh, I just hate seeing crumbs, and it just builds up. It builds in little cracks. But normally, my kids are pretty good about grabbing the handheld vacuum and cleaning up a little bit. I think
Good.
Nico gets a kick out of it. Arlo kind of gets a kick out of it. Um, but it's a hassle. Uh, we do actually, Sam and I, we do actually take more or less the approach of sweeping the house ourselves, um, because we want to. It's funny though. Sam will be the one that's more inclined to do the sweeping and whatnot because she sometimes doesn't even like how I sweep. And it's not like I'm going and doing a half-ass job of it either. But she apparently says I still miss spots even after I sweep multiple times in the area to make sure that things are picked up. Um,
Yeah.
as far as a kid, I would definitely agree the age is going to be a huge factor in there. I wouldn't. I've had my 4-year old actually try to help me mop the floor. Makes a little mess. He'll take
Yeah.
when I stick the mop in the mop bucket, he'll try to help me out with it or whatnot. Um, they show interest, which is huge. I like the fact that my children are showing interest in these types of chores, but I'm not going to assign it to them. And I think
Same.
again, you're not doing the same thing either. You said it there; it's for more of the older children, which I do agree,
Yeah.
because now they're able to handle the broom more effectively, um, compared to a 5-year-old or a 4-year-old who's going to be like, "Here's the broom." Not, by the way, this is not full size, but this is not the size. Here's the broom, and here's the child, and the broom is still like that much bigger than they are.
Right.
Could they learn? Sure, maybe give them a hand broom or something like a hand brush. But overall, I agree. I think it's a well fitting spot. So yeah,
All right.
um, yeah, charging electronics I still think is important if they want to have something to do. So as we touched before, number 3, I said garbage and recycling again. Um, how often do you want to have a full garbage can in your house that's all of a sudden smelling disgusting? Or especially if you have, little ones running around, right? Um, and you have to change diapers or pull-ups, and they decide to poop in those, and you just let those sit there. Come on, guys, that's disgusting.
Yeah. No, I agree. We put our stuff in. We put our poopy diapers in bags, like baggies, plastic
Okay.
bags, so the smell is kind of masked. But no, I agree. The only problem that I didn't put it on my list is because it's heavy, and
Mm.
they would need to be like
Okay.
10 in order to do that.
Yeah. No, we do try to make our. So I don't necessarily make our 10-year-old or anybody like in charge of the garbage per se. When it comes to removing it and taking it outside because it does get kind of heavy. I mean, we don't necessarily change it every single day, maybe every 2 days we like to change it, so it does accumulate quite a bit of garbage. Not to mention we have like one, two, three garbage cans downstairs in the basement right now. One kind of like near our dryer and washer, so really like
Mm-hmm.
taking all the lint and whatnot. Maybe some because we also have our cat and dog food right over there as well. But I've got a garbage can right by me for like my garbage when throughout the day when I'm down here working. But then we've got a garbage that's kind of specifically for the cat litter. Um, and that can get pretty heavy after one or two, especially if you
Yeah.
don't do it if you only do it on a weekly basis. Um, so, think of that. And then you've got some other garbage cans around the house that you just grab and empty and put into your big garbage. It does get heavy. I'm not gonna lie. So usually we don't do that unless we know he can lift it. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but most often we have him in charge of recycling. Now the thing that drives me nuts is that recycling for us is every other week when they come and pick it up. So it gets basically two
Same.
weeks to get recycling in there, which is understandable. But it drives me nuts when all of a sudden I can still fit recycling into it. So I'm trying to teach him that it's not necessarily full when he thinks it's full.
Oh,
Like it may be full because the way he's throwing things in there.
not
But
squishing
at the
them.
same time, if you're not breaking down your boxes properly, not moving them around like you can, you're not going to get it to fit. And it's kind of like a puzzle. Find the way to make things fit properly. Because
Yep.
I hate having overloads of, things, but then also I hate having to wait for the next period. And let's say, our garbage comes and picks up on Monday. So we have to have it out Sunday night. And, I even make him responsible for taking garbage cans out like to the curb and everything too. Um, Depending on the day. Like
Yeah.
sometimes we'll have him take it out on Sunday nights or whatnot. Usually I do that as well. Um, but I think garbage and recycling is still a huge thing. Teaching them to make sure you're not having a smelly house by any means, because again, you don't want to have a smelly house, or you don't want to have like bugs or ants or anything like that crawling into your garbage because they're gonna leave. They have their mark or like ways to find that, and then you just have to have that infestation, and that's never a fun thing either. Or you got your
No.
fruit flies and everything as well, and oh dear Lord, I'm tired of having bugs in my house when they're unwanted. So, I mean, that's my number three, garbage recycling. I think it's critical, because it's part of the cleanliness
Very. Yeah.
factor. And if you can't keep your house clean, you're gonna have those bugs. So,
So my number three is putting away laundry. Now, it's complicated, and this actually the kids do it, especially
mm,
Eleanor, but they're not always put. It's a chain. It's a chain reaction. She doesn't put them in the drawers nicely. I fold all the laundry when I wash. That's a
right.
little thing in our house. If you wash and dry the laundry, you fold it and put it away. So you start from beginning to end. You sort, you wash, you fold. Then the kids, if they want to help, they put their own clothes away. I don't know why I have it so high up, but it's something that needs to be done, and it's a huge help to me. So I'm not running up and down the stairs, even though Lord knows I need it. But it's still also good
You
for
calling
them.
yourself fat?
Oh yeah, no, I'm huge, but it also teaches them to learn to properly put things away in certain drawers. So they learn organization. I could care less if it's still folded by the time it ends up upstairs, because it usually isn't.
You should care if
But
it's
just as
folded.
long as it's in the right drawer.
I would say you should care if it's folded too, though, because that's part of the organization. If the
When
clothes
they're
are coming
older, yes.
unfolded, but what about the storage space? In their drawers, they only have so much space. And if it becomes unfolded, it just becomes a mess. Maybe your clothes start getting holes in them because the way they're put away versus the way they should be put away. Like,
Hmm.
I don't know. I mean, we've started using having Kane put away his clothes, um, because it's something he needs to do. If he wants clothes, he needs to be responsible to put them away. Eventually, I think I would love to transition to, oh, you need clothes. You need to start putting them, start doing your own laundry. I don't know how some other people feel about that. I had one of my friends, like his parents, they did their laundry, but the kids were responsible for their own. Maybe that's something you do if you have multiple children in your household, just because then, you know, that teaches them to, again, work with you on a schedule of when they can get their clothes done and fold their own clothes and whatnot. But that, that's a lot. Sam and I have a lot of laundry to do, um, over a week's
Oh,
time.
yeah.
And now the problem is we don't necessarily get to it all done, all of it either right away. We have been very bad at letting piles and piles of laundry just fester, or not fester, but gather up. So now we have like 7, 8 baskets to do when we do actually
Mm-hmm.
get to it. I think
Been
teaching
there.
kids to actually do their own laundry eventually is going to reduce the amount of laundry that we have to be responsible for. But then on top of that, telling our children, you're not going to have underwear unless you do your own laundry. That's a really big thing, I guess that would be the big thing, or having the appropriate clothing for the appropriate season. Like if you don't have pants during winter, you better get to your laundry so you do have pants.
Yep.
But I agree, the organization thing is huge, and if you're having them put away, yeah, sure that some kids might be a little young, you could still have them put the clothes away as long as they get it into the right spot. That's great, and they're able to find it, whatever. I think eventually, though, you need to have them be responsible to make sure that the clothing actually stays folded, so it takes up maybe less space, um,
Yeah.
and it's put away neatly. And maybe that's something you just start working with them on as they keep going with it, knowing, okay, Eleanor, now it's time to make sure you're putting your dresses away or putting your pants away, but keeping them folded so you can stack them in a better manner and it doesn't look as tacky when you open up a drawer, or you don't have problems opening up the drawer. Um, you know, just something like that. I guess there's not really much to argue about it either, because if you let them do it the way they want to do it, and if you don't get stressed about how they're putting it away, as long as they put it away and they know where to find it in the morning when they're getting dressed or whatever, fine, acceptable.
Yeah.
I agree. But, normally as a parent, I would like to keep the clothes folded. Um, and I don't, as much as I know I could walk around and put it away, I want them to still have some sort of responsibility of knowing that if they don't put their own clothes away, they're going to have to find it in the morning, when they could find it very easily in the morning because they put it away, rather than be like, oh,
Yeah.
where's my underwear? It's like, well, if you would have put it away last night or whatever, you would know that it's in your drawer.
Mm-hmm.
So saving time in the long run. So yeah, I still like where you have it though. It's no right in the middle of the pack, but I would definitely say there are still more important things. But there are also some things that are less important. Now, I think maybe if we did a top 10 list, it'd be a completely different story. But
Yeah.
um, let's talk about number two. Now I know you had mentioned that you had sweeping floors at number two or number four. I had it at number two basically. Um, but I think that's because of the age that I'm thinking of, where if you have little ones running around, picking things up, putting in their mouth, you want to make sure that their toys, and this is actually kind of a combination. So like making sure their toys in certain rooms are picked up, um, or on the floor are picked up. So like siblings that are younger than them aren't getting
Right.
at it, choking on it. Um, but then again, you don't want to feel like it's a, you know, a pigsty, especially if you're
Right.
having guests over. I hate having a pigsty. So making them a little more responsible for that is going to be huge. Not saying they need to necessarily sweep and mop the floor, but just making sure that their toys are put away. Um, so I guess cleaning the floor is more on this point, cleaning up their toys off the floor. So especially in like more of a public area in the house, cleaning the room, that's definitely going to come later. Uh, but we will certainly talk about that. I want to hear about you cleaning up toys. Is that where's their cleaning up toys more focused?
Living room. Living room, and whenever they. God, I'm so bad at having them do it down here because they do play down here every once in a blue moon, but it just becomes so much of a mess. I don't know why I don't have them clean it up, but it's down here, it's in the living room and dining room, and hell, even the bathroom when they do their bath toys. That's part of it as well. And obviously, there's the importance of putting the bath toys away so other people can take a shower without stepping on a freaking Hot Wheel car. But
So you've experienced that before,
or a Barbie.
Yeah.
And of course, they're my Hot Wheels cars in the bathroom.
You know the worst. I think the worst part about the bathroom toys, though, is we actually had it set up where we kind of divvied up the chores in a way, and for the longest time, we would have to remind Nico because we gave Nico the responsibility of taking the bath toys out of the tub or whatever.
Okay.
Now, we're not necessarily saying take them out of the tub and put them away right away because they're wet, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to put them and we have a bucket of bath toys. If you put the toys back in the bucket right away, it's gonna, put water in there, and the toys aren't going to dry. So, just remove them from the bathtub. So to your point, you're not stepping in them. But I would love for, them to start learning. You need, for any toys that can suck up water and like the squirt toys, you need to empty those out.
Yes.
Or do the best you can to empty them out. That's a huge thing about cleaning up those types of toys because otherwise they're going to get mold. And that's bad. And I have taken some of those toys that have water in them, squirted out, and you see freaking like mold stuff coming out of it. It's like, oh, well, maybe we should get rid of this. It's disgusting.
Black flaky.
I hate it. Yep. Black and flaky. It's all that mold kind of growing inside the toy. And that's just not a pleasant sight to see when you're letting it go down the drain either. But making sure, those toys are also very clean at the end, are dry enough so you can put them in the bucket. But I agree, preventing a pigsty or the house looking like a pigsty, especially for your guests or whatnot. Not to mention, who wants to really be tripping over a toy in the living room and getting hurt? I'm not so worried about it for myself, but I'm more worried about my children getting hurt. Right. Because my children do have they are somewhat accident prone. Or, the idea of misplacing a toy. Well, if you put the toy back when you're done, you're going to know where to find it next time. Yeah. Rather than if mom and dad have to come through and clean up the floor, and we've done this before, we have just gone through some of the toys that weren't picked up or whatnot, and we threw them away. Purging the house of toys. Why not?
Yep.
Too many toys. Yep. They don't need them all. So.
No, they lose them underneath the couch too.
God, I hate that. Especially when I start cleaning under the couch. Or Sam starts cleaning under the couch and we just go, yep, it's gone.
Sucks.
But sometimes, it's an out of sight, out of mind kind of deal. And then all of a sudden, I've had this before too. I want to play with this. Where is it? I don't know. Probably got rid of it because we did. I really don't remember.
It's called your toy. It's not my toy.
Yeah. Have you actually ever had that though, where they ask you where it is?
Yeah. That's my response. That's why it's called your toy. It's not my toy. I know where my toys are.
Yeah.
But that's my response. It's not my responsibility.
Do that with I say do that with your children. As much as like Sometimes I feel like I get maybe a dirty look from my wife when I say, "Not my responsibility. You should know where it is." It's true.
Mm-hmm.
If you would have put it away when you were told to put it away, or if you were to put it away when you were done playing with it, you would know exactly where to look.
That's right.
And sometimes my response is, "Where did you put it last?" I'm sorry. And this doesn't even go for toys either. This goes for like shoes or anything that should be something they need to put away on their own. But yeah, sometimes I feel like I get those dirty looks saying, "Really? You're going to be that harsh?" It's like, if they would just do what they're supposed to do and they know they're supposed to do it. Number one, honestly, cleaning room. We both are in agreement with that. Um, their room is their responsibility. I shouldn't have to clean it for them. Again, if I'm
That's
going to clean it,
right.
either I'm throwing something away that they want or are now starting to look for. Um, Usually I'm still, Sam and I are still pretty good about not throwing away all their stuff. Um, but if they clean up the room, they know right exactly where it should be. Or they can, maybe argue over the stuffed animals they have. My children have a multitude of stuffed animals. But if they start
Same.
cleaning it up, keeping it off the floor, they're not going to be running into things in the middle of the night when they have to go potty after being potty trained, what there may be. Um, they can do some things in their room, like instead of having to all of a sudden worry about, okay, where are my Legos or where can I build my Legos? They'll have the room already cleared. Or if, maybe Sam and I want to come clean it, go through it, we don't have to deep clean it as hard anymore or something of that nature because they've already picked up their toys or stuffed animals or what there may be within their room. Really just keeping it organized, especially if you have people that are, coming to visit and you sometimes they come in, it's like, oh, great. You don't necessarily know what's running through their head. I hate having, even truthfully, even though some of my guests that I do have over don't care how the house looks, I want to know what's actually running through their mind. Like you may say
Why
you
does
don't
it
care
matter?
because I want to know. Like
Yeah, but
they can tell
who
me one thing,
cares?
but they think something completely different. Like, oh great,
Yeah,
I'm
but
going
why do
into
you
the
care what
house and
they
it looks like
think?
crap because they are my guest.
I
And if
suppose.
my house looks like crap and they really, they say it's okay, but it really bugs them, I'd rather know the truth than be like, okay, well, thanks for lying. It's like, dude, if it really bugs you, honestly, just tell me. It's not gonna hurt my feelings,
Yeah.
and we know that we want to have it clean. We're not stressing over the fact that you're coming over and the house needs to be clean. We just want it to be more presentable. And if you ever dread coming over because it's not clean, well, then stop coming over.
Yeah.
That's, but
Get the hell out of here.
yeah, I'm not saying, it's just one of those things. I just like to have the honesty rather than the I'm gonna be like, yep, nope, it's fine, but really it's not because I tell you this, but in my mind it's like, nope, 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 nope. I'm dealing with this only because your kids want me over. If you didn't have kids, it'd be a whole nother story. So,
Right.
but yeah, I mean, cleaning the room is huge. It's their responsibility overall. Um, they're the ones that are going to be in it most of the time, anyways. But it's still nice to know that it's organized.
Yep.
Have you ever just gone
I
in there
agree.
though? Or do you threaten them sometimes and be like, if you don't clean your room, what if I get in there and start cleaning it? I'm throwing things out.
Oh yeah. And we have done that. Yep.
Yeah, purge the room. Teach them a responsibility. Yep, I've done that
That's
too.
right.
And I hate doing it
Even if
though.
you don't
I
throw
hate
it away, just grab the garbage bag and put it in the basement somewhere and go through it and then throw out the stuff that's broken or whatever.
No. I've always had a hard time doing it though, because especially if it was with Legos, it's like I don't want to get rid of the Legos.
I want the
That's the hard
Legos.
part. But yeah, okay, so that's kind of the list there. Um, Not honestly, surprisingly, not in not a whole lot of debate or anything, just more kind of conversation to keep things open. Um, I feel pretty good about those lists. If you guys have anything you would definitely challenge or feel like different, let us know. Feel free to
Yeah, what's your
comment
ranking?
on, let us know your ranks, what you feel. Now, granted, we only did top five. We did come up with a list of like 10 things. So that does allow for some differentiation. If we wanted to only pick five subjects and actually us maybe doing five, ranking them in the five, I think that would definitely cause some more or debate conversation side of things. But for a test really here in ranking, we just wanted to do top five out of 10 things that we had kind of come up with. So give you an idea here. We did have the sweeping the floors / vacuuming. We had dishes, pet maintenance, cleaning up toys, cleaning room, putting laundry away, washing windows, charging electronics, yard maintenance, and garbage and recycling. So, if you feel like you want, by all means, please provide us how you would like to rank or how you would rank if you wanted to let us know. Certainly do so in the comments. You can do that in the comments in YouTube. You could always provide your feedback in Spotify. You can reach out to us on TikTok too. Let me know on TikTok. Love to hear from you. You can even email us at leasheddads14@gmail.com. Let us know, if you want to discuss anything, by all means. If you want to come on and guest show and even talk about your ranking, that way we'll certainly have you come on. But, let's get down to some funny things because I think ranks can be fun. But you know what's even funnier than ranking? Some chore dad jokes.
That's gonna
Some
be a chore.
chores. Or jokes. Yeah, great. Nice job. So, what do you call someone who searches for paper towel?
I don't know.
A bounty hunter. A
Oh,
bounty
bounty
hunter.
picker, picker,
Ah,
upper.
ha ha ha. Da, 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 bounty. All right. What do you call a cleaning skeleton? A cleaning skeleton is referred to as the grim sweeper.
Grim sweeper.
The grim sweeper,
Nice.
folks. Yep. Yep. What do you get when you cross a sweeping device and a toy? A broomerang.
God.
A
God.
broomerang. Ha ha ha.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I saved the best. Honestly, I think I saved the best for last. I might get some hate on this. But you know what? This is just a joke. Remember, just a joke. Don't mean any harm by it. No foul play whatsoever. A wife is shouting at her husband about not helping with chores. I'm cooking, cleaning, doing laundry, while you are sitting all day waiting for me to bring you a beer. What kind of husband are you?
Thirsty
A
one.
patient one. No, a patient one.
Oh, that's great.
It is great. It is great. But no, yeah. If you appreciate the ranking ones or if you enjoy the ranking episode, please let us know here. Maybe if you want to see some other ranking episodes, let us know as well. Again, we're on Spotify, YouTube, Google, and Apple Podcast, short TikTok, Facebook, Leashed Dads. You can always message me on Twitter. Again, message me on TikTok or whatever. But leave us comments. Let us know how we're doing. leashdads14@gmail.com. And, we appreciate everything that you guys are doing for us, listening to us, providing us how we can improve or whatnot. Stay tuned for some more entertaining stuff. Jared, as always, though, I appreciate it. And thank you for being an amazing host. We'll see you next time.